Hi everybody, my name is Tom Tubergen, and I'm back again with video number 3 in my series on winning the war for new clients. Since the last video was released a few days ago, I'm really amazed at the feedback that I've been getting. And I really appreciate that feedback from each of you. For me, much of this material is like yawn, so it's sometimes hard for me to gauge what the reaction is going to be in advance to some of the topics that I'm teaching here in these video series. So today in this video, I wanted to begin with a quick review of the concepts and the techniques that I've been talking about so far in the previous video segments that we've already listened to. And then I'm going to blend all of these together, all of these techniques together in a holistic overall perspective, creating a structure that marketing professionals will refer to as something called a marketing funnel. In the end, we'll walk through a recent case study and I'll show you how all of these concepts, all these techniques come together to form a complete system that consistently kicks out high quality prospects and profitable clients. So are you ready to get started? I am. I really love talking about this stuff. So here's a review of some of the points from video number 1. Some of the things we learned about is that the objections or the excuses that attorneys use are really your or their weaknesses that you can use to your competitive advantage. We said that some of the fundamental changes in the way that we communicate and exchange information, referrals are a disappearing method for generating new clients. The importance of knowing where you're going and a plan for getting there from here. And then one of the final concepts was that of the Pareto principle and using it to your competitive advantage. Only 20% of the people in your area are likely to provide any sort of a competitive posture towards you. And then in video number 2, we had 3 techniques that we use to convert more prospects into profitable clients. The first one was that the perceptions you create are so absolutely critical to your success at working or talking to a new prospect. The second thing that we talked about was to shut up and stop selling yourself. Listen to your prospects. What's giving them heartburn? What are their issues that you are uniquely capable of solving? And then the third concept that we talked about, the third technique we talked about in video number 2 was making that emotional connection with each of your prospects and continue that right through the close of the attorney-client relationship. All right, so in this video I'm going to take many of the concepts that we have been talking about in the previous videos and showing you how they all come together to create a marketing machine. And that's really the objective, isn't it? To create a process that almost runs independently of you. And just day after day, week after week, consistently, each month, every month, kicks out a steady stream of highly qualified prospects that need your unique attention and expertise. And it's important to think of this holistic marketing process, like I said, as a machine, because your primary objective is to build a marketing process that continually just grinds out all of these new qualified prospects for you to convert into clients. So one of the issues that many attorneys and small law firms have is that when they're busy, little or no marketing or promotional work takes place. When they're not busy, then marketing becomes a big priority and gets some attention. The outcome is the feast or the famine sales revenue cycle with a lot of multiple peaks and valleys throughout your year. Very unpredictable to forecast your cash flow, which in turn makes it difficult for you to invest wisely in new opportunities that come along. Marketing people refer to this marketing machine or process as a marketing funnel. There's 3 distinct parts of a marketing funnel. The inputs across the top of this diagram that you're looking at, which represent all of the different promotional tactics you're using to generate or acquire new prospects, whether it's radio advertising, TV spots, newspaper ads, email blasts that you're doing, whatever it is. These are all examples of inputs to the marketing funnel. The actual funnel itself, which is in the middle of the diagram, is in most cases represented by your website, but sometimes you might have an input that encourages people to call you directly at a specific number instead of your website. The outputs from your sales funnel are highly qualified, ideal prospects who want to contact you about your legal services. So one of the key functions of your marketing funnel of the website, for example, is to screen out those people who are so-called tire kickers, the ones who need legal services but they don't quite fit your ideal practice of law, your definition of an ideal client. So you want to have your marketing funnel do a lot of the screening out of marginal prospects. So here's what you need to know about creating a marketing machine or a funnel for your law practice. This top row of inputs represents each individual promotional tactic you're experimenting with on an ongoing basis, like I said earlier. It's critical to track and measure the results or the number and the quality of the prospects that each tactic produces. For the most part, this is the task that a secretary or an admin or someone of that level in your firm can track, leaving you to periodically adjust your spending on the promotional tactics that are working and the ones that aren't. The middle section of the website again represents your website typically, and this is where your promotional tactics will typically send an interested prospect. There's a few very key objectives that your website is supposed to achieve. You want the website to provide the information in a way so that the visitor quickly gets the idea that you provide certain legal services to clients in a specific region of your metro area or even of your state. And this is the central concept behind qualifying your prospects before they call. This reduces the potential no-show appointments and the unprofitable clients. You also want to offer some sort of valuable content, like a PDF file or a miniature ebook or something of that nature in exchange to get their contact information, like their name and email and telephone number. One other point that I should make here is that you want to be very careful to avoid specific words and code words or terms everywhere on your website that are code words for free or cheap or desperate. There are some specific terms that you can use that will totally resonate with people who need free, cheap, or are desperate. And when you use these code words, they come looking for you. The bottom part of the marketing funnel is where an interested prospect pops out and reveals themselves by contacting you. And now you can kind of understand that by the time somebody does call you, they already know a lot about you. And this is why during your first conversations with a new prospect, you're able to focus on their legal issues and their emotional status and not on your qualifications to be an attorney. So once you've got your website optimized just right, this part of your marketing funnel becomes somewhat low maintenance, and you can focus your energy on managing those specific promotional tactics for your law business. So let's take a moment and talk about a real life case study. And obviously I'm not at liberty to disclose names, and I'm certain you'll understand that, but one of the specific recent projects that I got involved with involved a small family practice law firm on the West Coast. And to the credit, the principal in this firm was quite marketing oriented, much more so than the normal attorneys that I typically will meet. They have a good professional appearance on their website, and they have numerous systems set up to collect referrals and clients and prospects from different Find a Lawyer services in their major metro area. But there were two very specific challenges that they faced. They had a very high level of new client no-shows, so they'd schedule an appointment with a prospect that sounded really promising, and the time would come and go and no one showed up. They also had a very low rate of converting prospects into clients. So even when they did show up, they very infrequently converted that prospect into somebody that gave them money. So after some investigation, here's what we started to dig up. While they'd done a good job of using all of the local referral services, and they were clearly getting a very steady flow of prospects calling them every week, we discovered that a number of these referral banks that they had registered with focused on specific portions of the metro area that were less affluent or even poor and less likely to yield good, higher paying clients. The second discovery we made is that their knowledge of marketing almost was actually working against them. Sounds kind of strange, but that is a good way to describe it. People who are very familiar with the sales process know that there's always an issue of objections that a potential client will ask about, like, wow, $3,500 for a retainer is a bit expensive for me. Or, can you drop your retainer cost for me at all? And so on, things like that. Those are examples, a few quick examples of an objection. In this specific case, the attorney was reading an entire 3-page single-spaced list of all the possible objections a potential client or prospect would have, along with the correct response or the reply. How many times do you think a prospect would think to themselves, wow, I didn't think of that one. I better go check that out as soon as I leave here before I call the next attorney. And then at the conclusion of the initial consultation appointment, the attorney would hand the prospect a book about the legal process and send them on their way. The prospect was never asked for the order. So here's the takeaways from this case study. Pay attention to and track the various promotional inputs, the quality of the prospects that are being sent your direction. The second takeaway is that you need to be listening to your prospect, not the other way around. How do you help a client if you don't know what they're thinking and what they're concerned about? And the final takeaway here in this case study is come right out and ask the prospect for the opportunity to take this case. What's happening is that if you don't ask, the prospect assumes you're not interested. Alright, I've mentioned very early on in this video series that the reason we're making these videos is to help you win your war for new clients. You know how you feel when you have a really good meeting with a great prospect with the ability to pay a sizable downstroke, a sizable retainer, and you wait for them to call you back, and one day goes by and another, and then you realize they're not calling you back. They pick somebody else. It's sort of like being back in middle school and being picked last for the team, isn't it? So in this series of videos, I've showed you some simple techniques that you can use right away to turn this ship around. In fact, in video number 2, I showed you 3 techniques that you can very quickly use to turn yourself from dud to stud in a hurry. But the problem has always been, where do you go to learn these techniques, these promotional tactics, and the marketing strategy behind them that's so powerful? There's nearly almost a total absence of viable, unbiased business management and marketing resources for smaller law firms. And nearly every attorney is handicapped without the business management background they need to be successful. So if you're enjoying the material in these videos so far, you're going to be really interested in a major project that we've been working on here for some time at MSG International. For the past year, we've been working with several large focus groups of attorneys, law firm owners, and solo practice people across the country in every discipline of law, developing a series of online e-learning modules. And these are all designed to help you with actionable content to market and promote your law firm and plan and achieve your success goals with your business. But rather than turn you loose with a bunch of content that will probably sail right over your head, we had our attorney focus groups work with us to carefully design and implement a complete self-paced online learning environment. And this e-learning environment uses a cutting-edge online self-paced tutorial that's about 60 to 90 minutes long about each specific marketing tactic. It instructs you about the topic, but then it also provides you with all the worksheets and all of the documents that you need to use that concept in your own law firm. But it actually goes quite a bit beyond that. You see, I was actually quite careful to mention a moment ago that this is a learning process that we're making available, not just another series of videos. So in addition to the self-paced e-learning modules, you'll have access to a private online forum where you can communicate with other attorneys who are simultaneously studying the same module. You'll be able to get your questions answered and compare notes in sort of a virtual classroom setting. So here's how the whole system is going to work. In a few days, we're going to be sending out an important email announcement that registration for our next class is opening up. Now, this email announcement is actually rather important because the registration is open for only 1 week. This is not a perpetual registration process, and the reason for this is that there's always a group of you at the same point in the learning curve to compare notes and ideas with. So this email announcement is actually pretty important. So once you've registered for this group, you're going to receive access to a specific sequence of e-learning modules, 1 module each month. Each subsequent month for 8 consecutive months, you'll work through the next module in the sequence. And during that month, you'll be able to work on that module during your free time at your pace. You'll be able to communicate with other group members on a private online forum 24/7 and participate in live private teleseminars or webinars with your group members about that topic during the month. So there's actually a couple of important items here. The email announcement with all of the registration details is going to be sent out by email during the next 2 days. You need to be looking for that email. The registration period is limited to 1 week only, and once it closes, access to the registration page is removed. There will be no way to join the class after the registration closes. So don't procrastinate. Remember talking about that concept? Okay, a few points that I want to reinforce from our previous videos. These instructional videos are created to be used by attorneys and law firms who strongly dislike losing those good prospects to a competitor. They're only for that 20% of the attorneys in your area who will do whatever it takes to win, the ones who will take action and not procrastinate. So that's my bit of exciting news for now, and as I indicated before in the previous videos, take a moment to say something nice about us in the comments section below. I can promise you it'll probably go to my head. So until we cross paths again, stay safe, be profitable, and like I tell my son, never do anything stupid unless I can be there to watch. Be looking for that email and have a great day.